We live? Yep. What up, guys? My name is Elliott, and I'm standing in front of my 1993 M35A3, also known as a Deuce and a half. This is a military truck that I picked up when I was stationed in Virginia, I want to say about 6 years ago. So if you haven't seen the other videos, I would highly recommend you go check them out. Anyways, it's been a minute since I put out a video, and in this video specifically, I want to address an issue that I've been having on this truck. This truck has a heater system, and the way they designed this heater system is that it has a lot of little nooks and crannies and openings that rodents have been able to get into. I have been dealing with rodents in this truck for a while in the heating system, and one of the things I've really been wanting to do, it's been in the back of my mind, but I'm just now making a video on it, is to rat proof the whole heating system on the truck. So that's what this video is going to be about. So every time I would use the heater, an intense odor would fill the entire cab, and I knew that was because the rodents, mice, made a nest somewhere in the heater box. I should have taken some footage because it was insane. They had created an entire mouse nest. This whole thing was filled with twigs, insulation from other parts of the military truck, all sorts of stuff, and it was gnarly. It was a full-on apartment in here with chambers, passageways, and everything. I couldn't believe it. So yes, I got some temporary mouse traps in here, but the mouse traps have been in the truck for 2 months since I've cleaned out the box. The mouse traps haven't caught a single mouse. So that's good. I assume the problem is fixed, but the odor is still there because I kind of did a mediocre job of cleaning it up the first time because I was kind of crunched on my time limit for the day. So one of the things I wanted to tackle, I wanted to disassemble the airbox again, clean it all up thoroughly this time. That way I can use the heater again and not be overwhelmed with the nasty, disgusting odor. I'm sure that some of you live out in the countryside and you also have had rodent problems in probably multiple of your vehicles or tractors. It's no joke. That stuff is gnarly when you leave it unattended and it just builds up over and over again. Like I said, this truck was sitting out on the back side of the property for over a year. That's where I had it parked, and I didn't really drive it that much. So this was a free apartment for all the mice. So let's get into that. This should slide out perfect. Look at that. Still got a lot of rust in here. Doesn't smell too bad, which means the smell must be coming from somewhere else. In fact, now I can actually start to smell that disgusting rodent smell. So I believe it's coming in from here. So I'm gonna drop the brackets here and drop this whole section out because I didn't clean that last time. So I'm thinking that's what I need to do next. A little bit of WD-40 over everything's not gonna hurt, at least the way I see it. Let's see if I can get the whole thing to rotate at least. No, it's pretty crusty on there. I gotta get this boot off. It's been on here for quite some time. Trick is to get it off without tearing it. The alternative is to remove these little Phillips, but there's 2 of them on the backside, and my tool to get to those on the backside are at work. There we go. Gonna need my 90-degree Phillips. And that is at work. What a shame. So I had a bit of an aha moment. I don't have my 90-degree Phillips here because it's at work, but I do have a Leatherman with a little Phillips. So let's give this a try. Oh, it worked. I got it. I got the backside Phillips that was off right here, so now I just need to pry the thing back. See if I can get it off. Hey, there we go. Look at that. No way I got it. All right, awesome. Wow, that was really on there. And this boot just doesn't want to budge either. Wow. Whew. It doesn't even need the hose clamps to stay on. Huh. I mean, it really doesn't. So this box right here is the next thing that I want to remove. Seems pretty simple. 2 flatheads for the clamps here, Phillips, and this guy, a little bit of WD-40, should slide right off to the side. Okay, so we know that is our target area. Should slide right off. Look at that. Easy. There we go. That's one. There we go. Now, this whole thing should come out. Probably got the boots that are stubborn and don't want to come off as well. Wow. Okay. There we go. Got one boot. Oof. Oh wow. I can't make this up. Holy smokes. Let me show you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't like dead critters, then I advise you to look away. We got a really little baby hollow mouse. I don't think that's what was causing the smell. And there we go, we got some more gross trash in there from the rodents. Well, there you have it. And I'm pretty sure the smell is coming from here because I can smell it right now just sitting here. I shook this guy out over the trash and all sorts of stuff fell out. So it is pretty hollow now, but if I throw these into the ultrasonic parts washer that we have at work, it should be able to hopefully get rid of some of that smell. Also, while I was in there, as you noticed, I was upside down for a little bit. One of the things that I noticed, and I could smell a very pungent odor, is from the heater core. So the heater core has a very gnarly smell, and I can also see a little bit of coolant right here. It's putting off a pungent smell right now. So there are 2 hose clamps holding this heater core in on the firewall side. So I'm going to disconnect those, pull the heater core out, and also throw that in the ultrasonic cleaner. If not, maybe look up to see how much a new one might cost, because this thing has really seen some better days. I mean, you can just see the corrosion everywhere. Who knows how much longer this will even last for. So that's my strategy. So I guess we'll cut to when all these parts are clean. All right, so we are at the airport now, which is where I work, and I've taken all the parts from the heater core system. I sandblasted them, I've cleaned them up in the parts washer, and I've painted them. So let me show you what they look like. Okay, we got all the parts painted and ready to go. They've all been dried, they've all cured. We got new scat hose, as you guys saw earlier, the piece that was extremely hard to get off. Got a new one. Got the new heater core, because the old heater core, as you guys already saw earlier in the video, was very corroded. I cleaned it up in the parts washer, and here is the new one. The new one is aluminum, but it should last the next 15 years, no problem. Also, to prevent the mice from getting back into the heater core system and building another apartment complex, I ordered some mesh wiring. That way they can't get back in. I'm gonna block off the inlets and the outlets for the air system. This is one of the inlets right here. So I'll add the mesh right around this opening there. And we got our inlets up here on top. So these two holes right here on top, they go to the defrosters for the windows. So I'm thinking about adding some mesh right where the air comes out of the defrosters, because if I put the mesh right here on the holes, the mice can still get into the defroster vents and then build their home right on top of where this mesh is inside the ducting. So I don't want them to get into the ducting at all. To prevent that from happening, I'm gonna add the mesh right on top of where the air comes out for the defrosters. So I'm not gonna show you guys the process that I'm gonna go through in order to cut this and figure out the shape that I need for all these openings. I'm just gonna show you what the end product looks like. Okay, so we got our floor vent box here. We got the mesh here. I used foam inserts there. This one is just held in by pressure, so that way I can remove it in case any debris gets stuck in there. And this one I actually have with 4 dabs of RTV to keep that one from coming out. So that's that one. Here's our other side. Got the inlet. This one I just decided to paint it. Don't know why, but I did. That's where the motor goes. Sits like this in the cab. Now they can't get in the inlet anymore. Before I put the heater system and all the different components back into the Deuce and a half, I thought of something, and that was that I probably should take advantage of it not being in the truck and address the corrosion, or rust I should say, that is on the floorboard. So let me go show you that. Okay, let's get you guys turned around. So here is some of that rust that I am referencing to. It's pretty bad down in here. I don't know if that does justice. Pretty bad along the rockers. There's a hole there. A little bit of rust along the sides. And we have some surface rust back here on the floorboard. Nothing too bad. The truck's from the East Coast over in Virginia, so let's keep that in mind. But all things considered, I think the truck is in pretty good shape in reference to rust. And like I said here, this is the worst area. As you can see, it's pretty corroded in the rocker. So one of the things that I did was I cleaned up all the rust with an angle grinder. I coated it in OSPHO, O-S-P-H-O, OSPHO, I believe that's what it's called. It's a rust inhibitor. It's really good. I'm gonna put a little bit more on with a brush down in here in some of the harder to reach spots, and then I'm gonna apply a new coat. I'm gonna roll on some new paint. So that's what I'm gonna do first before I put in all the cabin heater pieces. Okay, so here is the OSPHO that I was referring to. Really good rust inhibitor. For some of the areas that I couldn't reach with the roller, I'm gonna use a paintbrush, dip it into the cup here. Whatever I don't use, I'll pour it back in. Using a paintbrush will allow me to get into the crevices and the hard to reach spots that I couldn't get with the paint roller. Decided to go with a foam brush rather than a paintbrush. That way I can kind of really dip it in there. All right, the instructions say to let it sit for approximately 30 minutes and then rinse with water. So I'll use compressed air to blow out whatever bits and pieces are here, and then we'll be ready for paint. All right, there it is, all rinsed out. Some of you may be asking, did you really fill this up with water? Yes, I did. I put a water hose in here and I scrubbed everything. And now it's draining. Quick shot of the military helicopters that always fly over us. That's where we are, right next to Pendleton. Okay, we got our 383 green And it's time to pour some of this in here. That should be good. Maybe a little bit excessive. I got you guys set up to get a decent angle somewhat of me painting in here, so this is what you got. Now the trick is if I can make sure not to spill paint everywhere. Like, I don't know how stable that is. I guess we'll find out. It's turning out nice. So there's before, here's after. All right, we got the inside all painted up in here for the most part. I gotta get this one last section right here. I think it looks pretty good. I'm sweating, it's like 85 degrees today. So we will wait 24 hours for this to cure, and we'll cut to that once it's all dry. Okay, so instead of putting the leftover paint that I had back into the bucket, I got a little carried away and I painted some more areas of the military truck. I couldn't help myself, I had to do it. I'll show you guys what I did. So this is fiberglass for those who don't know. And some of the fiberglass, as you can see, was showing up here on the railing. And whenever I'd climb on this thing or go camping in this thing, I'd always get fiberglass in my hands. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use this leftover paint to paint over the fiberglass so that way it doesn't happen anymore. So I did this area because there was fiberglass up top and below. I did the right side of the truck. Now the brown and the black really stand out. So for those who are watching who are OCD like myself, it's probably gonna bother you. But anyways, painted there, here. I painted this section of the rail here because of also similar reasons for all the fiberglass that was really just poking through here. That side was okay. This I'm gonna paint black. Painted the top of this as well. Those are the areas I hit. I hit that side, these two posts. I did this guy and this guy because for those who don't know, they made these out of fiberglass as well, the arches. That wraps up the painting portion. Now we can skip forward to the reassembly of the heating system for the cab. Now it's time to install it in the truck. I'm just gonna set you guys up for a quick montage, and before you know it, everything will be back together. Okay, let's get you guys set up here. So this is the best idea I have for right now. As soon as I open these up, coolant's gonna come out. I got a half-gallon cart cut in half, and I'm gonna try to catch some, throw a bunch of rags down, and we'll see how it goes. I am. I'm draining the coolant out of this.
You gotta do a time lapse too.
Yeah, right. I'd say this stuff is pretty nasty. Maybe I should do a coolant flush. Cheers. I'm just kidding. This might be harder than I thought. I'm gonna have to move you guys. All right, I finally got the new heater core in. It took some finagling. So finally got it in, skipped the filming because it took me a while. Let's just show you guys what it looks like. Here it is. I put a little foam piece here because it's pretty tight fit and I don't want it to rub through the cover here. But finally the new heater core is in. That took a little bit longer than what I expected, but it's in and let's continue. Yeah, I already got the black boot in. I didn't bother filming it. All right, everything is finally back together. Let's take a look. All right, check it out. We are all back together. Everything is buttoned up. All back together. That was a big project. Well, I also turned it into redoing the floor and everything on this side, which I think also turned out really well. So the last thing to do is just to put the mesh up here on the defroster vents, which is super easy to do. There's 2 Phillips on each side of the defroster vent. Just pull those up. I'm gonna cut a little rectangle piece of mesh and throw that on top. So my heater system will finally be mouse-proof. This has been a big project. I've been putting it off for, I wanna say 3 years now. It's been in the back of my mind ever since I started discovering rodents. So this is a really good feeling. My heating system is finally gonna be rodent-proof. No more disgusting smell during the winter, although it's pretty much a month away from summer. So I'm kind of finishing this project at the incorrect time of the year, but who cares? Well, there you guys have it. That was the entire video of me disassembling the heating system, sandblasting it, painting it. I went over the board and addressed the rust issue in the floorboard. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. According to YouTube statistics, most of you only make it 5 minutes into my videos. So if you made it this far, which is I think I want to say about 20 minutes, I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll try to be putting out more videos soon. Take it easy.